Hi there, I'm Dylan. If you're new here, together with my sister, I bought this abandoned farmhouse behind me in Piemonte in the hills of northern Italy. We document our renovation project on my sister's YouTube channel, which will be linked below. On this channel, however, I'm taking you along our journey of growing our own food and enjoying it with a glass of wine. If that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing and let's dive right into it. Well guys, look what got delivered. Well, actually a lot got delivered, but among the things are olive trees. So we're gonna take a look, see how they're doing. They're looking great from here so far, much bigger than we expected actually. And also some more wood, so we're good for the rest of the year until we make our own firewood. We're gonna unpack them and see where they're gonna fit best in the garden. Primitive, but okay.
Feral.
They packed them pretty good. I'm not sure how well it reads on camera, but these are 3 different levels used in the past for growing fruit trees, which now unfortunately have all pretty much died. But we are gonna bring it back in some shape. For now we have the olives that arrived. There are 6 different varieties and I will tell you, or 6 different plants of 3 different varieties, but I will tell you more about that later. For now, I was thinking to not use this level yet. This level for the different raised garden beds, and then I would plant the olives down below, if you think that's also okay.
We can place one there, here, or behind where the camera is standing right now, to just make sure it's not planted in a row but still looks like
more organically.
Yeah.
We only have to make sure that they're pretty close together, because otherwise they aren't bearing fruit apparently. The more you learn, I suppose. So we're gonna figure out where to plant them and then we're gonna show you. Okay, so what we've decided on, at least for now, is that I'm gonna try to remove all of this because it's pretty much in the way of everything. And we're gonna make a nice arrangement of the different trees in a place that's more visible in the beginning. And if we want to plant more trees later to make it more of a olive grove, then we have plenty of space to do so. So that's the plan for now. Only thing is, the base of this used to be a vine, so a grapevine, which is very old. It seems very, very, very ancient. It has very thick trunk. Let me show you first. So it has at one point been trellised up. I can see 2 or 3 trunks even. So all of this old wood is a grapevine. However, as you can see, it's very much not in great shape. So a lot of these wooden parts have dried out fully, are very much dead. So I'm guessing for now that the whole plant from down below is dead because all the bark has, well, seen better days. I just think it isn't alive anymore, but if it is, I want to restore it, but I'll find out soon enough. But yeah, I don't have much hope. But if it is still alive, then it's gonna stay. Well, some parts do seem to be alive because this is new growth with not really buds yet. Well, some. Well, okay, I'm not sure. This seems to be in okay shape. This seems like it wants to come alive. So there is some part, I think, at least alive. Let me see if there's some green inside. Yeah, this is alive. Okay, I'm gonna find out where the parts are that are still alive and change plans accordingly. but I want to maintain as much of this plant as possible. So perhaps we're gonna do one tree over on that side, one tree over on that side, sort of close to the garden bed, but not shading it too much, and make a trellis for the vine to go in between. That's the plan for now. So I'm gonna remove all the material that is dead or no longer there to support the vine, and see if I can prune it back to health. This would be the time of year to actually prune, so that's a good thing. I think it's going to be a challenge to remove all the dead wood while maintaining all the parts that are showing signs of life, but we're going to see. In case you're worried about me doing this with shorts, I can handle some scratches, but if it gets too bad, I will change into safer pants. A lot of the stuff laying here is stuff we actually already cut down. So I just have to put it on a big pile of trash, natural trash we don't know what to do with. So all the branches that are too awkwardly shaped to mulch. So we'll probably just end up burning them or making hedges out of them. We're not yet sure. But we have one big pile of it, and that's where it's gonna end up. had to walk down to get some garden shears because the brambles are, as expected, putting up a fight. I did, however, come quite far, and we did order attachment with blades specifically for brambles, actually, so very curious to find out how well that works. But I don't want to use up all the string because, you know, it just sort of disappears in this process more quickly than we would like. So it does go through, just not that efficiently. So chop chop. Look who's there. Hey there. Always joined by my shadow. These are very much needed, even though they aren't good enough, because, well, you can see there are some openings already, and the thorns are quite sturdy, so they can get through sometimes, but it does help a lot already. So I'm just gonna remove most of it and then see if I can make it flat again, so we can start planting. Also the whole terrace down here, or at least the beginning part, I'm gonna do with the brush cutter, make it all nice flat place, so we can start planting hopefully in like an hour. And while brush cutting earlier here, I must have hit something that's a bit leaky, as in like there's an onion smell, and I'm hoping to plant wild garlic. I love wild garlic, and it seems something similar, at least something similar smells, is growing here already, but I don't see anything that looks familiar and part of the whole onion garlic family. But there's a very specific smell. If you know, you know. So there must be something within that family growing here, or at least something very similar. Might be a good spot for the wild garlic then. I don't know if you can see, but there's many of them. They don't go through all the way, so they just prickle me. Then I notice they're there and I can remove them. There we go. Slowly but surely, we're getting there. The unfortunate truth is that this is only temporary fix, of course, because brambles always seem to find their way back. Their root systems are quite elaborate, with, you know, these little like bulbs where they grow from, and they can have runners underneath soil for meters and meters. So I'm sure I haven't won this. You know, I haven't won a war, but at least I can win this battle. Oh, sorry guys. Hit you right in the head. Also, regarding the wild garlic, I'm very much aware that if it's happy somewhere, that it will get everywhere. So we will be careful. I'm more worried that it won't take than it actually being happy here, because wild garlic requires quite a lot of humidity and moisture in the soil, and while in winter time we do have that here, in summertime we don't really. So maybe planting close to the river. If you haven't heard about the river yet, go check out Nikki's last week's video, or the week before, but you've probably already seen it. and are just as excited about the river as we are. But that would be a spot where I think wild garlic would naturally grow. It doesn't really like that much sunshine, and it requires quite a bit of moisture, so that might be a good spot. And it doesn't need to be everywhere here. It's okay if it's just a little bit of foraging here and there. And everything we're gonna be planting that isn't native, we want to be very careful with managing it. So we're not gonna make it into an exotic forest just yet. But we're not limiting ourselves to only things that are very specific to this region. Of course, that's what interests us most, but we also like some plants and of course some varieties that haven't traditionally been growing here. But we'll make sure to manage it. I also quickly want to take a moment to thank you guys for the overwhelming support on my first video. And some of you guys were asking about the water situation. How am I going to water the garden, which is right here, if the source of water is down below? And actually, if you look at the old polytunnel, all the remnants that are there left of it, in the corner there's a rainwater collection point. And the rainwater is hopefully enough to support the garden this year. So that's what we're going to try out. For now, I'm just going to focus on getting them loose, cutting them at the roots. And then later I'm going to just rake them in one bunch all at once. And also there is a kitty cat in here. Little cat hiding. Honestly, she's crazy. Careful. I'll show you. You can hardly even see her. She's right under here. There she is. Voila. Yeah, he's really enjoying the sun here. It's February now, the end of February, and we're used to cold and snow in this time of year, so it's really nice to just be in shorts, in a t-shirt, enjoying the sun with almost 20 degrees temperatures. It's really nice. But let me show you the water collection point I was talking about. Here I'm inside the old polytunnel, which isn't in really great condition. I know a lot of you are hoping we can restore it, but honestly I think it's beyond repair. Most of the poles are bent. But look what we have here. Ja. Dan kan ik wat ik hier zeg maar gewoon het gras gemaaid heb. Ja, het is niet normaal. A quick sandwich as lunch and then we continue. Okay, so I'm not sure how well it will show up on camera, and also I'm sorry about the wind noise. The wind started to pick up a little bit, which is nice because it's actually quite hot. But these little ones, these little branches are alive. You can see it here, it's a bit green. These are alive and these will grow buds that new fresh shoots will come out of. I followed it down, the whole big branch, and it's not the original big branch, but one that grows on top of it. And that is good news because the original branch doesn't need to stay here because that's not alive anymore. However, this branch does come from ground level. I was hoping it would sort of come from anywhere on the big old branch, but it comes from ground level, which could mean different things. It could mean it's its own plant growing out of the ground on its own, but it could also mean that it is actually the rootstock of the original plant. And the original plant died. The variety that's used for winemaking, the European grapevine, Vitis vinifera, for those interested. And all European grapevines are planted onto American rootstocks because they're more resistant. And it might very well be the rootstock growing up above the ground, which they're not supposed to. And these American varieties cannot be used for winemaking, unfortunately. So it probably has to go. Which is sad, but so be it. Okay, so I'm taking down the whole structure apparently. These actually might prove useful in the future. So we're gonna keep them. Okay. Well done. The brambles are not only holding onto each other very strongly, but they also want to hold on to me. And although I appreciate the gesture, of course, I'd be happy if they didn't. But it seems like we're getting there. I'm slowly starting to become optimistic. I did, however, lose one of my gloves at some point. And I'm hoping I'm still gonna be finding it along the way. There's no sign of it as of yet, which is curious. Okay, so now all the grass is gone and the brambles. I can see where this is coming from. It goes all the way here, 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 and then it attaches just under the ground with the main stem. Which means, unfortunately, we have an American grape here. And the original one has since died. May you rest in peace. On the other side, it does mean, however, that after some cutting, this will be the perfect spot for our olive trees. Well, if that doesn't show you the state of this plant, then I don't know what does. And it looks like the other one isn't going to require much effort either. It's a beautiful, intricate structure the way these grow. Fortunately, I don't think we have use for it. Zo meteen. So we finished the planting for today. As you've probably seen, we're cooking up some food, or we're about to anyway, around the campfire. And we've planted 4 out of the 6 trees that we have. Tomorrow we're gonna finish planting them, and I'll tell you a bit more about the varieties we've chosen and why. For now, we're just gonna enjoy our evening. de apricot. And it hasn't only been here for the nice views. We have some rosemary, so might as well use it. So some of you might be wondering what we're drinking tonight. We have a very light red, served it slightly chilled, and it's from South Africa, and a blend of both white and black grape varieties, planted all together, in the same vineyard, harvested at the same time, and then made into wine together, which gives a very light and fresh red wine, perfect for a little barbecue. Cheers. She likes to sniff the wine, to judge it, I suppose. So it's the next day now, or actually it's 2 days later, because yesterday the weather wasn't really nice. But we're back here anyway, and today I'm gonna finish planting the olive trees, and also I found the source of the onion smell. I'm gonna show you some b-roll later, but right beside the little olive tree there is some chives growing, so that explains the smell. They were probably somewhere here as well, but I didn't recognize them. But we have some wild chives, so that's nice. So we have the first herb planted, I guess. For today, the goal is to plant the other olive trees, and I'm gonna show you where they ended up. I've spaced out the trees with about 5 meters in between. Some places it's more like 4, some places it's more like 6, but sort of roughly 5 meters apart, and that's to ensure fruit sets well, because they aren't the easiest trees to pollinate themselves, so they need each other for proper pollination. So spacing them too far apart might end up with less fruit sets. The goal is mostly for the trees to enhance the landscape, just for the look of it basically. But we do plan on actually growing the olives, and I'd love to make some olive oil out of it, which is quite an involved process, and we'll still have to figure out if we're ready to invest in that process ourselves, especially for only having just a few trees, or if we can find some neighbor who presses olives more seriously than we do, so we can bring our olives there and make our own oil. But that's something for a later stage. For now we've selected 3 different varieties, the most important one being Lecchino. I think that's how you pronounce it. My Italian is still not as good as I'd like it to be. But Lecchino is the most grown variety around here and among cool climates in general, and that's because it's the most frost resistant. It performs well even in some more serious frost periods like we're supposed to be having here. This winter has been unusually mild, and most winters recently have been. So you see a lot of, I think since the year 2000 sort of there's been a switch where Piemonte traditionally wasn't really an olive growing region, but it has slowly turned into one. What we've heard from some neighbors is that they haven't had a serious frost problem in like 15 or 20 years. So they said it's probably okay to plant a lot of different varieties as well. But to be sure, we've planted Lecchino just to be safe. And it's a variety that produces nice quality olives that can be used for oil production, even in colder regions, especially in winter time. The other varieties we've chosen are Frontoio. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's a variety that is a bit better in the olive quality, but it's a bit less frost resistant. So there are years in which the trees will not die probably, but suffer some damage and produce less quality olives or less olives in general, less amount. And then there's the last one, and that's the little one behind me. It's Pendolino, and Pendolino is a variety that is very good at pollination. The olives themselves are quite good as well, but it's so good at pollination that it helps the other trees around it produce more olives. So it's quite a good tree to invest in, even if you just have one, so it can help pollinate the others. These are two species, the Lecchino, where you're standing right next to, and Frontaio, which you see over there. They are quite good at pollinating each other. They're both not that good at pollinating themselves. And when you add a Pendolino in the mix, all become well pollinated and you have much higher success rate basically. We have 3 of the Lecchino, so that's our main variety, 2 of the Frontoio, and 1 of the Pendolino, so 6 in total for now. The lowest terrace is going to be the place if we were to expand the olive plantation. It would be in that direction probably. I'm gonna plant the last few ones. Just plant them in the soil here. It's sort of a loamy mixture. In winter time it performs more like clay, in summer it's more like sand, which basically means it's loam, I think. It's a particle size in between sand and clay basically. High in chalk, which is very common for the area. If you've seen the white rocks, the cliffs right next to the house, that's some remnants of ancient times where there's probably been a seabed here or something, because it's very chalky in soil and it's usually a sediment from ancient maritime times. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention, we mulched the planting holes. You probably see me do it yesterday and you can see it right there. We use our own wood chips, but it just helps the soil to not dry out as quickly. And olive trees, especially when starting up, don't really like to be that wet, but they also don't like to dry out because they don't have really well established root systems yet, which makes sense. So this way the moisture in the soil stays a bit more constant even when there's a lot of sunshine on it, and frequent watering is just something they don't like. So this makes it so we don't have to water it frequently, but they stay sort of at a constant state so they can grow nice and big.